Relax, sit back as we fill your mind with spooky true crime stories of the deranged, unhinged, and absolute pure evil murders that will blow your mind. Some places we will visit to show you around and educate you on the history. Other times we will bring you to the paranormal because the dead never lie silent for too long.
Be the last time anybody sees us alive. I don't know where she has us, but we're gonna get fucking killed.
Hello? Gina, there is a beehive over there. Do you see that in the hole?
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Welcome to 50 States of Madness.
Welcome to 50 States of Madness.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back for another week.
Hello. It's morning.
I know we're recording at a different time today.
I know it's really strange.
It's because it's Juneteenth.
Yeah.
So everybody
we don't
knows
have
when
work.
So everybody knows when we're recording today. It's a holiday.
Yeah.
So
well, for some, I think it's like a regular holiday now.
Yeah, it's a federal holiday. I want to say it's a federal holiday. No, because banks are closed today, right? Certain businesses are closed, but like
I just want to know why we can't do
aren't.
it like on a Monday or a Friday.
Like if we can move it.
Yeah, because like why do I have to work Monday, Tuesday, take Wednesday off, and then work Thursday, Friday?
Yeah, I think this is one of those where you have to take it off on that day.
Yeah.
Sort of like, Veterans Day.
Yeah.
I think because it's a day of honoring.
Yeah.
So I get that it's June 19th because it's the day that Galveston finally found out after years of slavery being emancipated. If I'm saying this incorrectly, I'm really sorry.
That's why I'm going to let you go ahead with
And
this.
I'm a history major. But word finally got to Galveston because it's like, all the way Texas.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
all the way on
I know
the
Texas.
bottom of Texas. And so like years after, because, there wasn't TV or anything or radio for people to find out. So it finally got down there. And so there's this little old lady who has been celebrating it. I believe she's over 100 or close to 100. I'm watching the news this morning. This is all going off the top of my head. I probably should be reading a script right now, so I'm really, really sorry. So, but she got the movement going, and she's known, they call her the grandmother of Juneteenth. But she's been celebrating it, thinking it's a day, that should be celebrated. And so the people finally found out they were freed in Galveston, Texas. So, and that's why it came about. If I am incorrect on any of this, can people please put it in the comments, but don't come attack me because
I was going to say
this is off the top of my head. And we all know if you've been listening to us for any amount of time that I have no memory. So
me either.
But yeah.
That's okay.
It
all comes with age,
We always do the disclaimer.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So what's going on with you? Anything fun?
Well, yes. We have something really super fun, me and you.
Yeah,
that
we teased it.
That we just scheduled
and
yesterday.
we wanted to keep it under our belt until it was for sure.
For sure.
So we are going to be traveling in a month, and we decided. Well, I kind of decided.
I'm okay with it.
I didn't really give her a choice this time.
She said, "This is where we're going."
But we are going to be going to Salem, Massachusetts, not Oregon.
I'm really excited because I have been there before, but I was there for the 8th grade trip. So you kind of go with the tour group.
Yeah.
Which is good because then I can kind of say like, okay, yeah, this is, kind of know my way around a little bit. I've gone a couple times.
Yeah.
But I'm excited that I'm not on a time schedule and a crunch and that I have to be out of there before dark.
Yeah.
And there were some things I wanted to see that I couldn't see because it wasn't on the tour for the 8th graders and maybe not appropriate for the 8th graders.
Yeah.
I don't know. So,
yeah. So we're going to be going at the mid-July.
Yes.
So we might or might not have episodes during that time. I don't know if we'll be able to.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But I do want to say if anybody knows anything, because when I was trying to book us a place to stay, I came across the town of Danvers, and there's a Danvers State Hospital.
Yeah.
And I know that it burned down in the 80s. They put condos or apartment buildings there. But from what I've been reading, the tunnels are still there.
Yeah, because
Are
that's
they
what you had sent
accessible?
me yesterday, and
Yes.
yeah, I believe that it was the actual hospital was destroyed in the early 2000s. I
Yes.
think. I don't know. I could be totally wrong.
Maybe it's the early. No, you're right. No, it was the 2000s. I'm sorry. In the 80s, it was closed down. In the
Yeah.
2000s, it was destroyed.
Yeah.
But the tunnels are still there.
Okay.
And of course, some of the videos I found in pictures, people go in the tunnels.
Okay.
So
well, we might be one of those peoples.
I was going to say, but I mean, if anybody who lives in Massachusetts happens to know anything, or anybody who's ever visited over there, because I was actually looking into like, could you visit the hospital? But then that's when I found that it burned down. So yeah, but I'm sure there's other places that we can drive to over there. So if anybody has any ideas or anything of places we should absolutely
Not even
definitely-
necessarily in Salem, but just, close.
Yeah, not too far of a drive, but I know that the East Coast, a couple hours, you've already crossed 3 states.
I was going to say, shoot, we could be.
We can go all up and down the coast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Definitely. So we're looking forward to that.
yes.
So, I wanted to talk about, I've taken up gardening now.
You have.
So I wanted to do like a Gothic garden, with like.
So you've been getting a lot of sun?
Well, does it look like it?
No, well, because you said you've been gardening.
Well, I garden at nighttime.
I mean, it's safer.
And I'll put a picture up here, but I have an apron that I wear when I garden, and it says cemetery on it. And so the other day it wasn't completely, the sun hadn't completely set, but it was, like it's been hot here in LA.
Yeah.
And so
Dusk.
So yeah, I've been gardening at dusk, and I have like
She's a vampire.
I have an actual like garden in my backyard, but the dirt is like cement. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Have you been able to get
So
through it?
that's what I'm doing right now. So I got like a heavy duty shovel from Home Depot. And so my mom's like, cause we have, 2 stories.
Yeah.
And so the neighbor next to us, she's like, they can see in our backyard from the second story, and you're here, digging with your cemetery, your groundskeeper uniform on. Do you think that's going to cause any problems? And I'm like, well, that's what they get for being nosy neighbors, right?
They shouldn't be looking over.
That's right.
Just look up at them with the crooked smile,
right.
and the shovel in your hand, and like,
but let me tell you,
or do this.
gardening is harder than I thought.
It's a lot of work.
I don't know. And I'm sure that I know a lot of older people garden like during the day and stuff. And maybe they're not trying to like dig up stuff. Like they're probably pulling weeds or planting flowers or whatever. I am so sore. I feel like I have been to the gym for like 10 hours a day for the last week.
Well,
everything hurts.
I have neighbors that garden, and they go out there and they take their little bucket, they sit down, and they
I'm not doing that kind of gardening.
The weeding and all that through their garden and stuff. But they're out there in the middle of the day, and I'm like, how are they doing
I can't.
that?
I can't do it. It's just I don't like the heat. I don't like the sun. I've never have. I've always just like, ugh, it makes me sick. So
I'm dark, but regardless, I don't like the sun.
You're naturally dark.
Yeah, I'm naturally dark because I don't like the sun either. I'm like you. I like to avoid it as much as possible. I actually, my vitamin D, I'm vitamin D deficient because I hate it so much.
That's why I have to take prescription vitamin D.
Oh, you take? I take.
I do.
But I pop it in.
It's so strong. I only take 1 a week.
Oh, yeah.
Because even taking it daily, like a supplement, my vitamin D was still low.
That's what happened to Nathan too.
Yeah.
But now he goes outside because you just really need like 15 minutes.
It's not that I don't go outside. I mean, hello, I'm outside all day at work. I think maybe, for me, I think maybe that's just something that comes with age too.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I avoid the outside as much as possible.
Yeah,
but
I
have been walking every night.
Oh, that's good.
I've been. I have these hills behind my house, like not behind my house, but in my neighborhood, and they are steep, and so I hit 2 or 3 of them a night. Do about 2 to 3 miles, and so I'm trying.
Yeah, that's good. I love my walks.
You do. You walk a lot.
I do. I love my walks. Yeah, so hopefully, I bought 2. I have 2.
I was going to say, can you please describe the plants
you
got?
Yeah, I have 2 little plants. I don't know if you noticed one of them's dead.
I know what happened.
I don't know.
How did he die?
So
it's a succulent.
Okay,
how did she kill the succulent?
Well,
in California.
So one of them.
Did you overwater them?
I didn't. I did not. But one of them, like when I was reading, it said not to put it in a ceramic pot, and I put it in a ceramic pot.
Oh, I wonder why.
I don't know, because, and it may not be the issue. It may just be that it didn't take. I don't know. But my other one is thriving,
and it's not in a ceramic pot.
It's not.
So there must be something, because I kept mine, because I have the same plants as you do, and for the longest time I didn't even take them out because I kill everything.
Yeah,
and I kept them in the plastic pots they came in for the longest time. All I did was sit it on top of my dirt in my front yard. And I finally got the courage to take it out of the plastic and put it in the ground. And they're thriving. I was going to take a picture and send it to you when I got home. They grow so beautiful. What did you call it? A black?
Well, it's like a black rose, but they actually are called I want to say Aeolian, but that's not it. It starts with an A.
Oh,
I don't know. My cousin told me.
I don't know the name of them either, but I think they're gorgeous. They're like a black succulent. Yeah. Very pretty, and they got like,
maybe I'll just
look
go
like roses.
Snatch one from your yard.
Yeah, no. Yeah, clip them, because succulents, you stick them in another pot and they should. It's weird because it's almost impossible to kill them.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well,
I don't know how that happened.
I did it. So anyway, I want to do a whole garden in my backyard with, there's a bunch of there's black tulips. There's a bunch of different flowers that you can get. Black roses are very, very hard to do. But there are a bunch of different flowers that you can get. And then I want to put like a touch of, reds, like dark reds. A friend of mine from work, Alicia, has a flower in her garden that I really, really like. So she's going to give me that. And then Megan sent me, they are seeds, and they're called chocolate cherry sunflowers.
Oh, you know what? I actually saw that on my walk the other day. They're so pretty.
Yeah.
And I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah. So she sent me the seeds for that. So I can't wait to plant that. So
I want a seed from that.
Yeah.
I want to plant that.
Yes.
I think it's going to be so pretty.
Beautiful.
Aww.
Yeah. So, and then my cousin, that's what he does for a living. He's, a
gardener.
Yeah. And so he's been helping me. And then my friend Noemi is like the queen of succulents. So I haven't broke the news to her yet that one died. So. But
I think you can maybe you can. There's a way to bring it back to
she was like walking me through it like step by step by step.
It's because like maybe it's not dead all the way to the root. Maybe I don't know, the top.
I tried.
I did see him. I looked over and I'm like, oh, and I thought maybe I didn't have my glasses on and maybe he was just barely growing.
She's dead. Her name's dead. Reagan.
Oh.
And then Dahlia is the one that's surviving. So.
Oh.
Yeah. So maybe it's all in the name. I don't know.
Maybe. It was possessed.
Yeah. So anyway, enough with our chit chatting.
Yes. So what story are we doing today?
Today, I thought we would take it back to like serial killers, since that's one of my favorite things to talk about.
Yeah, apparently we have themes here. I'm cabin girl and she's serial killer girl. We have things we like.
I mean, I enjoy it all. Like true crime just in general is very fascinating to me, but I do. Speaking of serial killers, our Patreons got their envelopes. Yes.
Did they all solve them without looking at the answer?
They did. Okay, so get this. I think it's so funny that Jenna, she is one of our Patreons, and she got. So you put them together.
I just put them in envelopes.
And you just put them in envelopes, and then you just gave them to me. I didn't open them up.
Yeah.
I just addressed them and mailed them out. I didn't look and be like, oh, I'm going to give her this. I'm going to give her that, whatever. Yeah. So Jenna is...
No, because they were already taped. You couldn't have.
Yeah. So Jenna is a psychiatric nurse. She's a psych nurse. She got... Oh, God.
That nurse who...
Yes.
The female nurse who murdered her patients?
Yep. I'm trying to think of what the coloring page said, though, because it said... It said something. But anyway...
Yeah, well, I did... my crosswords, I named them myself and I created them myself. The crosswords.
Yeah. So she ended up
crosswords or word finds. Word finds.
She ended up getting that one.
Did she?
So I thought that was so ironic. I was like, oh my gosh, like
it was just random.
That was random. That was not chosen. I didn't do that. You didn't do that.
No.
Nothing. So
I just kept grabbing them from the top, going, okay, grab this one. I'll do a word find for this one. It was just random.
So it just worked out that way. So today we're going to talk about Aileen Wuornos. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with her and the movie, that Charlize, how do you say her name?
Charlize Theron. I thought that's how I say it, Charlize Theron.
Why are you rolling the R?
I don't know. That's how I always said her name, Charlize Theron. I think it's because Charlize, like I'm already in the Charlize Theron. Like Charlize Theron, and it's Theron. I don't know why I always pronounce her name like that. I don't know. Charlize Theron. What is her? How do you say her name?
Charlize Theron. Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron.
I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. Anyway, that girl.
That's the only time I can roll my R's.
So she played the part of Aileen Wuornos and did an absolutely amazing job. She is a beautiful woman.
I think she's stunning.
And I have no idea how they got her to look like Aileen Wuornos. But they did.
It's in the movie Monster, you said.
Yeah, and there's a scene in there where she's in like a bathroom. I haven't seen the movie for so many freaking years, but she's in, I think, like a gas station bathroom, and she's like drying her hands or like taking like a little bath in there. She looks just like, it's crazy how identical she looks to her in that particular scene. I just remember like, because she had to gain weight for that, and like just her face, like everything. And I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, how did they do that? That she looks so much like her.
The makeup artist, amazing.
Yeah, and Aileen Wuornos was not a good-looking woman.
Was not a stunning, beautiful woman.
No, not at all.
I wonder how they... when you're a casting director, how did you even like? Did she
be like, I want her. I can do that to her.
Thank you.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And maybe because the features are similar, so they can see, like the vision. But I just would never have put the two.
Never.
She
in
was
a
unrecognizable.
million years. Yeah, it was crazy. So Aileen Wuornos was born Aileen Carol Pittman on February 29th, 1956 in Rochester, Michigan. So she's a leap year baby.
Oh, yeah, she is.
Yeah, February 29th. Her parents, Diane Wuornos and Leo Pittman, divorced before her birth. After Diane, a teen mother, abandoned Aileen and her older brother, Keith, Diane's parents legally adopted the two young children. Aileen never knew her biological father, who was eventually imprisoned for child rape and died by suicide while in custody.
Wow.
I mean, that right there. I mean, obviously, if you research different serial killers, you obviously know that they have like some sort of past. There's some sort of trauma in their childhood.
It's very rare when it's like they grew up in a really loving home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not the case. So Aileen,
but I'm just going to say something too, because I know some children of serial killers are afraid they'll end up like their parents.
Yes.
And the sad, like you want to say no, it's not going to happen. But I mean, 90% of it is where you're raised, because I would think like, no, you wouldn't if you were actually like, let's say, adopted to grandparents who raised you far away from that, and you grew up wonderful with nothing. Like it's not like a trait that can be passed on, but maybe mental health wise.
Exactly.
I know. I was going to say
some of that genetic.
Yeah, scary.
Yeah,
okay,
you don't know. Aileen grew up in nearby Troy, Michigan, with her adoptive parents, Keith, and two older adoptive siblings, her biological aunt and uncle. So it's still family.
Yes.
That she's with. A fire scarred her face when she was a young girl. She developed an explosive temper and found it difficult to make friends. Around age 10, Wuornos learned that her parents were actually her biological grandparents. Media reports later drew comparisons between Wuornos and serial killer Ted Bundy, who was also raised believing his grandparents were his parents for several years. So that's a very you didn't know that?
No,
yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, he was basically raised the same way, not knowing.
I wonder why they wouldn't share that with them.
I mean, yeah, young. I don't know. I mean, I think maybe they think that it's gonna destroy them, but is it better to let them know when they're young or they're old, or never tell them and wait for them to find out on their own? Who knows? So this knowledge added more tension to an unhappy household. Her grandfather, Laurie, was a harsh disciplinarian who once had Wuornos watch him drown a kitten. Okay, serial killer fact number 1. Yeah. I mean,
maybe, I mean, it went
the thing with animals is like, you know, if you look on a list of like top 10 serial killer traits, that's probably number 1.
But this was her grandfather. It wasn't even her.
Right. But is that something that's passed down?
Yeah.
Wuornos later stated that she was physically and sexually abused by her grandfather and had sexual relations with her brother during childhood. As an 11-year-old, Wuornos was offering sexual favors to boys she knew if they paid her or gave her cigarettes, resulting in the derogatory nickname Cigarette Pig.
How sad.
She's 11 years old.
That is so sad. That actually breaks my heart.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, 11 years old. Think of where you were at 11 years old, and like, this is the stuff that she's doing.
Yeah. I was still playing with the Wibble Wobble families.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know.
Setting up their little village on my lawn and making booklets for my stuffed animals because I was their teacher. Right. That's what I was doing at 11.
I don't remember what I was doing at 11, but I wasn't doing this stuff.
You weren't being a cigarette pig.
No, exactly.
That is so sad.
Yeah. Sex work further isolated Wuornos from her peers. Wuornos ran away from home on multiple occasions and eventually was sent to juvenile detention. At 14, Laurie sent a pregnant Aileen to a Detroit home for unwed mothers. She told her family the pregnancy was the result of a rape, but later offered different explanations. She gave birth to a boy in March 1971. Her infant son was given up for adoption.
Oh, he'd be my age right now.
I'm like, I wonder where he's at.
I know.
After giving birth, Wuornos dropped out of school and bounced between juvenile detention, the Wuornos house, and sleeping in the woods or abandoned cars. How sad.
Yeah, it's
like a sad life that she lived from the jump. Like, she didn't have a chance. Her grandmother, Britta, who also had struggled with alcoholism, died from cirrhosis of the liver on July 7th, 1971. By this point, Laurie refused to care for his 15-year-old granddaughter any longer. Less than 5 years later, in March 1976, Laurie died by suicide. Aileen didn't attend the funeral. Lots of suicide in the family, too.
Yeah. And these were the grandparents of the mother, not even of the father who was in jail who died by suicide. Yeah. So it's like on both sides of the family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. By that time, she had hitchhiked across the country while continuing to engage in sex work. While in Florida, she met wealthy yachtsman Louis Gratz Fell. The 20-year-old Wuornos and Fell, who was 5 decades her senior, got married in May 1976.
That means he was 70-ish. Her senior. So 80, like she's 20, yeah. So 7. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot. The union was short-lived. Fell left Wuornos within a month. He stated she had a violent and ungovernable temper, and she had beaten him with his cane.
Oh my goodness.
Wuornos asserted he had been the one that attacked her. The two officially divorced on July 19th, 1976. So, yeah, May 1976 to July, that was very short-lived. Yes. Wuornos was arrested during the mid-1970s for assault, disturbing the peace, and disorderly conduct. In the early 1980s, she served time for armed robbery after drunkenly attempting to rob a convenience store while wearing a bikini. Like, what's going through your head at that time? Like, you know?
Yeah, she's not all there.
Wuornos' record of criminality also included forged checks, resisting arrest, theft, and drunk driving. Some crimes were attributed to fake names Wuornos had a habit of using, and there is a list of names that she went by.
Really?
Yes, there's quite a list. In June 1986, Wuornos, now calling herself Lee, met 24-year-old Tyria Moore at a gay bar in Daytona, Florida. The two started an intense 4.5-year relationship and began living together. While Moore held jobs as a housekeeper or maid, Wuornos engaged in sex work along Florida highways. That sounds really safe. Wuornos didn't like it when her partner went to work or interacted with others. They frequently moved to various motels, apartments, and mobile homes communities in Daytona and elsewhere in Florida. It was during their involvement that Wuornos's criminal activity took a murderous turn. Caught up in the investigation, Moore eventually turned against her girlfriend by helping the authorities. From late 1989 into the fall of 1990, Wuornos fatally shot 7 middle-aged and older men near highways in North and Central Florida. Her first victim was Richard Mallory, a 51-year-old repair shop owner who was known to frequently hire sex workers. He was last seen on November 30th, 1989. According to Moore's testimony, the next day, Wuornos told Moore she had killed a man. On December 13th, 1989, Mallory's body was found at an illegal dumping site in the woods. 5 more dead men were discovered over subsequent months. The body of construction worker David Spears, 43, was found on June 1st, 1990. Part-time rodeo worker Charles Karskeden, 40, went missing on May 31st, 1990. His remains were found on June 6th. On August 4th, 1990, 5 days after he was reported missing, salesman Troy Burris, 50, was found dead. Charles Humphreys, 56, a child abuse investigator, was found on September 12th, 1990. Walter Antonio, a trucker and reserve police officer who was in his 60s, also discovered on November 19th, 1990.
She went on a spree
She did.
that 1990.
Yeah, she was busy.
Just one right after the other. And, but I just kind of find it I don't know, odd that a child abuse investigator was hiring a prostitute, sex worker. I don't know. I don't want to speak bad about the dead.
No, but that's
murdered,
the thing that was so interesting to me are the people that she was working for.
Yeah.
Like the jobs that they held.
It's just all across the gamut of different, different men, different, but yeah.
So throughout this time, Wuornos often returned home with new possessions to pawn and cars that she had borrowed. Yeah, borrowed. She used a variety of aliases when she pawned items belonging to her victims, which made tracking her more difficult. But in July 1990, authorities examined the vehicle of Peter Symes, a 65-year-old missionary who'd gone missing the previous month. Witnesses described seeing Wuornos and Moore leave the car, and a print from the door handle was a match for Wuornos. In the fall of 1990, reports that authorities were looking for 2 women suspected of murder prompted Moore to flee Florida and leave Wuornos. On January 9th, 1991, Wuornos was arrested at the Last Resort Bar in Port Orange, Florida, on an outstanding charge. Soon after, police tracked down Moore in Pennsylvania. She made a deal to gather evidence against Wuornos in order to avoid prosecution. There you go.
I'm wondering how much she was involved in it, or how much. I know she
knew, but was she really involved, or?
Yeah.
But again, we talk about if you know, and what does that make you? Are you guilty, or?
If you were reported it the first time you knew, you would have saved all those other people's lives.
Exactly.
So
yeah, I don't know. In mid-January, Wuornos admitted to murder in a phone call with Moore, saying she committed her crimes because she was desperately in love and wanted them to stay together. After her phone confession to Moore, and against the advice of counsel, police videotaped Wuornos as she confessed to 7 murders. The public was fascinated by the case, due in part to the lurid nature of the crimes and erroneous media description of Wuornos as the country's first female serial killer.
Which she technically wasn't. But
no. She was dubbed the Damsel of Death. Among the people who reached out to Wuornos were an evangelical Christian couple who went on to legally adopt her.
She is a beautiful woman. She's not at all like the media has portrayed her to be. She's very kind, compassionate. She's got a heart of gold.
Adopted mother and daughter would later fall out.
Wait, with her and her nearing 30,
right?
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that was possible.
I didn't know that you can.
So if that's the case and I can be adopted at 50, what the heck?
Yeah. I didn't know.
How do you do that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
That's weird.
Yeah. But I have heard about it on some people, like 19, 20-year-olds, like things.
Yeah.
So maybe because she was still, I don't know.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need to be adopted.
Well, you got a great mom.
I got a good one.
You got a good mom.
I got a good one. So Wuornos was first prosecuted for Mallory's murder. During the January 1992 trial, Wuornos asserted she had been raped and assaulted by Mallory, details that didn't match her video confession.
Really nervous, and I'm really getting pretty shy and embarrassed, and this is hard for me. So saying that he loved to hear me, the pain that when I moaned, and he loved to hear my crying, and it turned him on.
During her first trial, Wuornos claimed self-defense, said the victim, who'd picked her up on the highway, suddenly refused to pay, tied her to the steering wheel, and raped her.
He whipped a cord around my neck and pulled me toward him. He said, "You're going to do everything I tell you to do, and if you don't, I'll kill you right now." And he was coming toward me with his right arm, I believe, and I shot immediately, and I think I shot twice, as fast as I could.
Although not revealed in court, Mallory had previously served time for attempting sexual assault. However, no other sex workers came forward to recount a previous violent encounter with Mallory. A jury found Wuornos, then 35, guilty of first-degree...
Okay, she was in her 30s when she got adopted. Okay, I'm going back to that adoption.
Right.
Like, I thought, like, okay, 24 she met, like, but her girlfriend was 24, so I don't know how old I don't know. I was just trying to do the math really fast in my head. But
I guess I guess if you've never had parents, I mean,
maybe it'll
technically
feel good.
she really never had parents.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so a jury found Wuornos, then 35, guilty of first-degree murder and robbery on January 27th, 1992.
We, the jury, found the defendant, Aileen Wuornos, guilty of first-degree premeditated murder.
Wuornos exploded.
I was raped. I hope you get raped. Scumbags of America.
The judge gave Wuornos the death penalty on January 31st. 2 months later, Wuornos opted to plead no contest to the murders of Spears, Burris, and Humphreys.
Well, she's already got the death penalty.
Exactly.
So what are you going to fight for?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just slap everything on me, you know?
Just do it.
Yeah.
She then submitted separate guilty pleas for the murders of Karskinen and Antonio. She received a death sentence for each plea. Syme's body has not been recovered, and Wuornos wasn't charged with his murder. I mean, she's got enough things stacked up.
I mean,
but at this point, the family, I feel like that's not fair.
You always say that, like it's because of the family, but then you're going to throw your money and resources.
Exactly. When
we already know that she had something to do with it.
Yes.
And the body hasn't been recovered, and it's going to be all circumstantial, you know.
Yeah.
But
Wuornos initially maintained she had killed her victims in self-defense, though she later retracted these statements. Police believed that she had killed men who'd either picked her up or had stopped to help her on a highway. So maybe it wasn't all sex work.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Why
we just automatically assumed.
I mean, I guess nowadays I don't think many people stop to help people on desolate highways, but I guess maybe in the 80s or the 90s they did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A man seen a woman there.
I guess, yeah. After a decade on death row, Wuornos decided to fire her appeals lawyer, who were working for a stay of execution. Although a court-appointed attorney argued that comments made by Wuornos suggested she was profoundly disconnected from reality. You think? In April 2002, the Florida Supreme Court ruled that she was able to fire her attorneys. In early October 2002, Florida Governor Jeb Bush lifted a temporary stay of execution after 3 psychiatrists deemed Wuornos mentally competent to understand the death penalty and the reasons for its implementation. She's not dumb.
No.
Does she have some mental issues? Yes. She's not a dumb woman.
Well, no. You already know if she was she was smart enough to use a different name every time she went to go hawk an item.
Wuornos was executed by lethal injection on October 9th, 2002 in Stark, Florida. She was 46 years old. Her reported last words were, "I'd just like to say I'm sailing with the Rock, and I'll be back. Like Independence Day with Jesus. June 6th, like the movie, big mothership and all. I'll be back." Wuornos remains were cremated and scattered by a tree in Michigan.
So when she says she's sailing with the Rock, she means like
the Rock. Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?
Yes. Can you smell what the Rock is burning?
So yeah,
it's Aileen Wuornos.
Wow.
So yeah, so she was, quite a character.
That Jeb Bush name sounded familiar,
right? Good old Jeb.
Yes. So yeah,
I did.
That's crazy.
I think I've gotten rid of it a few years ago, I think, but I did used to have a T-shirt with her on it.
Did you really?
I did.
They actually sold a T-shirt with her face on it.
Yeah.
Oh, you can find.
I forgot what it said though. It wasn't a T-shirt. It was actually a pink sweatshirt.
Did it say like Independence Day with Jesus?
No. No.
And why did she say June 6th? What was significant about June 6th?
I don't know. It's got to have a tie to something.
Well,
whatever she's referring to, I would imagine.
Did Independence Day, was that June 6th that it happened? No, I'm trying to think of the movie. I thought maybe it was in reference to the movie with Will Smith.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Like the big movie, the big mothership and all, I'll be back. Yeah. So
I don't know.
it must be in reference to that movie. So
I'm guessing so.
That's crazy.
And I'm not a movie watcher, so I would not be the person to be able to answer that for you.
That's true. You never saw Independence Day with Will Smith?
Anyway, moving on.
Girl. It's actually a really good movie.
We're going to wrap it up for this week.
She does not go to the movies. Okay. Yes, thank you for joining us. You can find us
on that note.
Where can they find us?
Well, they can find us everywhere.
On anything. Just type in 50 States of Madness and it'll pop up.
Yep. So. We're on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere, all podcast platforms. Everything is at 50 States of Madness. So
yes. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.